Hello everyone, hope everyone's doing well, even in this weird time. For my blog post, I decided to do a little experiment where I would up my social media use, especially Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And so for all of last week, I used them a lot more than I usually do. And some general things that I felt. I felt like I had to ignore people a little bit, like who I'm with, in order to like keep up to date with everything. So that was a little weird, and I felt like I was being annoying. But I did like being able to connect with people. I think that was really interesting. Past friends. I had got to have a couple of really nice conversations with past friends. I did notice that there was a lot of negative and self-deprecating content. And I know that part of that probably is because of the global pandemic, but I also wonder how that spreads and if general moods are contagious online. I know that Boost and Dorian and May in 2011, they did some research on that, and they looked at the 2010 Winter Olympics and how good news about that and positive tweets spread really fast and faster than negative tweets. I asked a lot of my friends who are in my pod what they thought of social media use and well-being, and I got some interesting results. So here it is. Question 1. How do you think your social media usage affects your well-being?
Yeah, I think using social media does impact my kind of well-being.
Yes, I do think social media affects my well-being. Yes, I do.
I think generally when I'm not using it as much, I feel better, but it also can be like I can also feel excluded if I'm not using it and all the people around me are. So in an ideal world, no one would be. If I'm away from my friends and I'm on like Instagram or like apps that they're using a lot, then I feel worse. Like almost FOMO.
Generally, I think like a low level of social media use is good for me to see what my friends and family are up to who are not in the same space as me. But if I overuse it, it can like cause anxiety and like boredom, and I definitely feel myself getting kind of like addicted to it, and so then I have to like go cold turkey for a little bit.
Question 2. Do differing social medias have differing effects on your well-being?
Yeah, I think so.
Like in what ways?
I think like for like Instagram, like because it's like a lot of like pictures, like you end up like comparing yourself to other people more like visually, at least that's what I do. But for like Twitter, like I'm usually just like laughing because it's just like text, for example.
Yes. Like Facebook is the most useless social media. I will scroll through Facebook for sale pages and I will never buy anything ever, but I will spend time. Facebook is stupid. Twitter gives me news, but also makes me feel bad sometimes. But sometimes it's just funny and like lighthearted.
What about Instagram?
Instagram is not good for anyone.
Yeah, I feel like Twitter, I feel like I can almost like hide more, so I'm like more focused on like the content, and it's less about like if you're pretty. It's more about like, is the content you provided like, I don't know, interesting or funny? Mm-hmm. Versus on Instagram, I feel like it's like if you're not an attractive person or like aren't doing something amazing, then it feels harder to post or like participate.
Question number 3. I asked after I gave some research which says that actively engaging in social media is positively related to well-being, but passively engaging in social media is negatively related to well-being. In other words, if you're just scrolling through stuff, then usually you're not very happy. But if you're actually having dialogue between people, then you're more likely to be happy through your social media use. So the third question is, does your experience line up with the research?
I think I definitely agree with that active kind of makes me feel better than passive. And I think when I'm engaging with like social media in a way that it like actually makes a relationship with someone better, like outside of social media, then it's the the best outcome.
Social media feels more harmless if I'm like sending back like memes and stuff with a friend, versus I think it can be kind of like easy to get into your head about, like it's almost like isolating in the sense, but at the same time I wouldn't want to be talking to random people. That, like, I feel like that would also be isolating.
Okay, I do agree with this. I remember listening to a podcast about this a long time ago when people were talking about like loneliness and how social media can make you feel more lonely if you just passively scroll but you never say anything because it's like you're watching a conversation that you're not contributing to, but that social media does the opposite when people feel like they formed like communities over the internet.
I don't see that playing out in my well-being. Like I think like interacting with people, like especially like, I don't know, like if you don't like know them personally and you're just like interacting with them on the internet, like I don't think that necessarily like raises your well-being.